Can you all believe it? This is probably going to be one of my final videos of ReZero for a good long while, especially when it comes to new content. Unless some people decide to pick up the web novel series and start translating it. This will probably be one of my last ReZero videos for a very, very long time. And it saddens me. It really, really saddens me. If there's one thing I hate so much about being an anime fan or manga fan, it's that all things must come to an end. I know I say that. I know I say it often, that all good things or even bad things must come to an end, but that's the thing I hate the most. When you really get into something, you truly cherish it, you love it, you have it weekly or whatever, how long it is, you enjoy it. And when it's finally gone, you just have this emptiness. You just feel this sadness knowing you cannot look forward to every single week of something new from that said series you like. For instance, ReZero. And the last time I truly felt this with a series ending, like really felt the way I do now after the conclusion of ReZero, I think the last time I felt it was Hunter x Hunter 2011. Now, big Hunter x Hunter fan. I love that series. I loved watching it weekly. I got so into it because it's just such a fascinating series. And I think the last time I felt like this after a conclusion of a series is this, Hunter x Hunter, and then now it's ReZero. And it's just one thing I really hate as an anime fan. When I get so passionate about something, when I get into it and I love it so much, I feel sad because it's over. And the bad thing is, since, ReZero, it's based off of a web novel / light novel, we gotta wait for translations to eventually come out. Yen Press to finally release the light novels in English, and I know how Yen Press is. They take forever to release light novels. Like, I remember waiting for Spice and Wolf when I was getting into the series. I remember finishing the anime of Spice and Wolf Season 1 and Season 2, and then the light novels literally weren't even past the anime yet in terms of translation from Yen Press. I'm like, what the fuck? They literally were not. They were like only on Volume 3, Volume 4 at the time when the anime of Season 2 was already done. And I'm like, yo, this is just taking forever. It literally took them to this year to release the final volume English release, official English release to buy this year of Spice and Wolf. That's how long Yen Press takes to translate a freaking series. That was 17 volumes long. And when thinking about it like this, I know probably ReZero is going to get the exact similar treatment. It's going to take years probably just to get to volume 9, which we are currently at in the anime, and I'm like, fuck, that's gonna take forever to reach. And it saddens me knowing I'm probably not gonna get any new ReZero content for a good long while, because this series I love so much. I love it so much. And it saddens me. I cannot continue with this series until either fan translations or Yen Press decides to kick it up a notch and release more volumes, or, we get a new season of anime. One or the other, but it just sucks now. We literally have to play the waiting game. Yes, I know there's summaries out for the upcoming volumes and all, and the different stuff of the web novel series, but personally, I don't want to spoil myself with summaries. I'm just going to be point blank right here, right now. I know I could find out some information about what is upcoming for the series for web novels and stuff, but I don't want to read a summary and spoil all the good details. I'd rather get the in-depth stuff before I have these things spoiled to me, so that's why I refuse to go read the summary of, like, certain parts of, ReZero. So, hopefully one day we get some translations to the web novel series and then the light novel and all that, but for now, though, this is the finale. It is. I mean, obviously I'm going to be doing some, BD reviews and stuff. I mean, I'm going to definitely, I want to do the pickup videos, for instance, when I get the BD shipped to my door and I finally get it and all that. Obviously, I'll continue doing unboxings and stuff because I really love this series and I want to continue to support it. Even though it's done, I'm still buying all the BDs. Even if it doesn't have an English translation, I'm still supporting such a wonderful series that really makes me passionate about anime and manga. This alone just is one of the big reasons why I love anime and manga, and so obviously, I'm going to support the said series. So, I'm going to continue doing, the unboxings and stuff for, the upcoming BD releases. But this, in terms of new content-wise, of talking about things, I guess is the last for a while. So enough of the sad stuff. Let's, just talk about, overall ReZero. The finale, to my overall thoughts, my expectations, just this is going to be a very long video. I'm not going to necessarily call this probably episode 25 review. I might name it something else. I don't know. But I just want to get all my thoughts on the table about the series, just everything that this series has made me feel from the start to the finish, to this finale and all that, and some of the things that, I know about that happens right after the anime ends. Yes, I do know about the supposed cut-out content that was in this episode. Now, it wasn't necessarily cut like in the middle of the episode. Literally, the episode ended right before there was supposed to be like some form of epilogue that get more information. Now, I know about the said information, but I'm not going to say it right now because spoiler reasons. There's some anime onlys, especially as myself, that might want to remain spoiler free. Now, obviously, I was kind of interested in what everybody was talking about, and I also got spoiled from the comment section of my ReZero video I uploaded today, so I couldn't really avoid it. But I will say this, however, I'm not going to say it until the end of the video or talk about it later on. I'll say like spoiler alert or whatever, because I don't want to spoil anime onlys that do not want to be spoiled. So, ReZero in a nutshell, just talking about the general consensus with the start, okay? As I said in my live reaction, I said it in my first impressions. Literally, go into my ReZero playlist and go to my first episode review of ReZero. It's my first impressions. I remember talking and saying this was like a series that was under the radar. Nobody knew about this series. Like, many people were hyping up other series from the season, like Mob Psycho. That was one of the big series many people were hyping up. Orange as well. I mean, there was just some big things. And I'm like, okay, I knew what series to expect that would be good. ReZero, however, was that series that no one knew about it. Like, I mean, there was some select few, like the hardcore fans that really know about certain things in Japan. They knew about the series, but it wasn't still that popular. And at the time, it just didn't really have a big fan base. It didn't have a lot of following, didn't have a lot of backing, and literally, it wasn't getting hyped up like said other series, like, Mob Psycho. And so it kind of just slid under the radar, and it finally aired in last season, in spring. And when it finally aired, I remember saying that it was a very good episode. I mean, it was an hour-long first episode. I was surprised. It gave me Steins Gate feels. I'm like, it's a pretty interesting start. Now, I remember, if I'm correct, I don't remember the exact words, but I said it wasn't the best. I remember I said that it wasn't 10 out of 10 or nothing, but it was a very good start. That's what I said. I remember. I really enjoyed it. It stood out. It was different from everything else from that season, and I liked it. But when I first watched it, I'm going to be just straight up with all of you, okay? I want to be fucking straight up right now. When I first started the series, I thought it was going to be eventually going down that generic path of, a fantasy setting, rom-com, harem, ecchi fan service, main male character that's dense as fuck, or some form of person that's a pervert. That's what I expected. I'm gonna be honest. That's what I expected with a character being dragged into a fantasy world. I thought we were gonna have something like that. It's a stereotypical anime series, and I'm like, okay, that's what I'm gonna be getting from this series. And I honestly thought before I got to episode 3, I was gonna drop it. I did, but before I watched episode 2 or whatever, and when I first started, I thought I might have eventually dropped it. I did. I thought I was gonna do that for ReZero. Gonna be honest, that was my thoughts at the time. But then, the series continued to become even more interesting as it carried on, with the complex characters and themes to all the different plot reveals and stuff. It just had so much things that stood out from this year of anime. I just couldn't believe how it was going, the direction it took, and especially the tragedy to the trauma to the mental brain fuck-ups, like the way it fucked your mind when you saw certain things that happened to Subaru or other characters. You're like, holy crap. And, I mean, it just continued to get better and better as the series went on. And even the opening song was so symbolic. I was just like mesmerized by how good the opening was. Even though it wasn't played that much, even the ending song as well, even though the opening ending songs in ReZero didn't play that much, they were so good, and you could remember them. You knew what they were when you heard them because they were just that good, even though they were not played that often for the sake of the anime to have more runtime and have more screen footage. I'm happy they did that, but it sucks that such good opening songs and ending songs weren't showcased a lot more with such a high quality series. So, the way the series started, I never would have thought I would have liked ReZero as much as I do now. I literally cannot even believe it. I'm not even joking. I just cannot believe how good this series was from start to finish, and how it continued to go uphill and never downhill. That is surprising. I don't think there is one episode of ReZero I personally dislike. I like every single episode of ReZero. All the episodes felt very important to the series. None of it felt like filler. None of it felt like stupid, like just get the fuck out of here. Nothing felt like that when I was watching the series. And that's a job well done. Not to just White Fox, the animators of ReZero, but also the writer of ReZero. To be able to accomplish a feat like that is just unexpected. And also not using a lot of fan service as well. Usually when you have light novels, okay, even Overlord, well, one of my favorites, even Spice Wolf does too, from time to time throughout the light novel series, there is some fan service in it. And I'm just so surprised that ReZero didn't even have to hold its audience's attention with fan service. Now, I'm not going to say there isn't fan service here and there throughout the series of ReZero. There was like a couple of scenes, but nothing that really distracted the main importance of certain said scenes. And once again, another compliment to the writer for not having a shit ton of fan service just to keep the audience's attention. That is something I'm happy with. I'm very happy to say that. And so, if there's one thing I could give as an award to the writer of this series, he passively shit on all light novel writers. Easily. All rom-com, harem, light novel, writers that love doing fantasy settings and stuff, the writer of ReZero passively shit on all of them. It literally took a dump on them and is like, fuck all of you, this is how you write a series. That is what the writer of ReZero did, and you know what? I'm fine with that. A little bit salty because of some series I like, but you know what? I am fine with that because I like writing like this. This is why I love anime and manga or light novels in general, is because of writing like this. So, let's talk about the mindset of Subaru real quick as a character, okay? Subaru started off as a character that seemed to be a traditional main character. Someone that was the hero. He did stand out a little bit. I mean, he was a character that wasn't gifted. He didn't have anything. He didn't have a power. He was a weak human being. And it's a setting, to be personally honest, I've seen before. I've seen it before, so it still seemed generic to me, especially with the beginning of ReZero. And eventually, the way the writer kind of characterized Subaru and changed him throughout his journey, and then showcased all his flaws, I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by how much character development this man got, and how much this character was like a deconstruction of the normal MC in a light novel series, especially in this setting. Literally, Subaru is the deconstruction of the normal MC of a fantasy light novel setting. That's exactly what he is. He literally is the embodiment of what is wrong with the normal MC in these type of series. And we get to see it brought to the surface and how fucked up personalities they are, and how Subaru's personality that would be fine in other series. Like if it was a generic light novel rom-com harem series of fantasy setting and stuff, Subaru's personality throughout the beginning of the series would have completely worked. He would have been completely fine. He would have been a fantastic character, like according to those writers. It would have been a fine character. His personality would fit right along with it. But thanks to the world and the setting that the writer wrote in ReZero, his personality wouldn't work. He was kind of the start of a similar character, but the way he was characterized and the way he was showcased, that how awful this type of character is, you're like, oh my, what have I been ignoring this entire time? His personality is fucking shit. Like, really shit. Not just generic, but he has an awful personality. He's a really big scumbag. And when you see Subaru actually display these tendencies in, like, the middle half of the series, like, holy crap, we're actually getting to see how awful he is. And this is how a lot of other characters would be in light novel series, but nobody ever calls him out on it because it seems like it's natural. It seems like it's normal. For instance, the character wanting to be the hero, it's someone that is always praised. It seems like it should be natural. But no, it doesn't work in this series. And so the journey of Subaru and how he finds himself and actually realizes his mistakes and what was wrong with himself, and then actually admits what is wrong and trying to overcome it, that was such beautiful character development. And out of all the things I've seen from this year, I think Subaru is probably my favorite character of this year. Instantly my favorite character. There's a lot of favorites I have from ReZero from this year. For one, it's my favorite anime I watched this year. Subaru is my favorite main character I've seen from this year of anime. And Beetlejuice, I gotta say, the voice actor of Beetlejuice surprised me. I've talked about this in the past. I've talked about how the voice actor apparently is a voice actor that's well known to voice main characters in, certain settings that are very generic, and he seemed to have a very plain voice acting set. For instance, he always played the same type of voice. He never really showed distinction with his voice acting skills. And thanks to him being able to play Beetlejuice, we've seen how crazy he could be as a voice actor. And one thing I gotta say, out of everything from this series, that was the best fucking voice actor I have heard all year long. Beetlejuice's voice actor was so good, but it's not just that. It's all the voice actors, I think, from this series that was really good. I can't really say I find one voice in ReZero that sounded horrible or didn't fit a character or was performing bad. I mean, all the characters fit the roles. I mean, Subaru, the way he was portrayed throughout the series, his emotions, how dark he got sometimes throughout the series, his voice actor did such a fantastic job. But as I said, though, Beetlejuice definitely hands down best voice actor of ReZero. Too good. Way too good, especially with the crazy tone and vibes he brought throughout the series. He was hilarious, but dark and sinister at the exact same time. So, getting back into Subaru's mindset and how much he has changed. As a character, Subaru is definitely... fuck it, I'm gonna say it right now. He is in my top 10 favorite characters. Let alone just what I have seen from this series. I mean... Subaru is a unique character. He is. He's a really unique character. Say whatever you want, I don't care. Subaru is a unique character. And the way he stands out, the way he's changed, and the way he kind of edged himself into the romance type scene to where he was, wanting to be with Emilia and then Rim as well, and then just seeing how he tried to change himself and try to become, the hero he wanted to be and all. It feels realistic. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like everything's being handed to the main character. See, that's one of the big things about light novel series, or any series in general. It usually feels like the character is just handed everything on a silver platter, and then they're fine. Like, it's like this. Normally, in a fantasy light novel series, okay? Subaru, if he was in that type of series, he would be handed everything. He'd be handed, like, armor, a weapon or whatever, a special power, the girl that helps him out every turn, just something. He has that plot armor, he has that silver platter to where he can literally accomplish anything. And the way Subaru struggles throughout the series, it's not like it's just given to him. This man succeeds in the very end of Season 1, but he struggles for it. It's not like it's just handed to him. You get to see this man go through so many emotions of how he has to literally fight for what he wants. There was even at points in his darkest moments throughout the series where he thought he needed to give up. He wanted to give up, and if it wasn't for the help of some others helping him out along the way, he would have legit given up and probably went crazy. So, to see the struggles he went through, it felt so real. His accomplishments he got, he earned himself. He managed to accomplish that with his own feats. Even though he's in this type of setting, he wasn't given everything to him. He had to fight for it. He did anything he could to accomplish what he wanted, to save Emilia. And with that being said, Subaru, definitely, that is why he's in one of my top 10 favorite characters of all time, just for that personality alone, the way he struggled throughout the series to accomplish his goal. Okay, so, let's talk about the series in general, like, for instance, the plot and all that, to, the return by death, to Subaru being dragged into the world. So, Subaru being dragged into the world and all that, it's, once again, I want to go back to, how the setting was. It started off very simple, basic, generic, something like you normally see, and then it branched out, and the execution of it was just fantastic. I mean, when it came to Subaru's return by death and how this man thought he was a hero at first, and then he got broken down over and over again and realized he's powerless, he's a weak human being that can't do anything by himself, and he finally came to terms with this, just the way the world and the setting was, like what the story was of how he wanted to save Emilia the entire time, it's just an interesting theme, too. I mean, it seems simple, but it's an interesting theme to see this man struggle so much for someone he loves. And so, the best way to summarize the story of ReZero, and to be honest, is that Subaru, he was fighting for love. He was fighting for the person he truly loves. And that's what the entire point of the series was, to save the person he loves and fight for them to make sure they continue to breathe and continue living. Because think about it, the start of the series started where, Emilia was on the ground bleeding out, dying, and so was Subaru. And then, eventually he did return by death, and he repeated the cycle until he saved her. And that's kind of been the entire journey of it. I mean, he's tried to save Emilia, and he accomplished that. So, the story, even though it's simple in nature, the way it was done and executed, it was perfect. And that's saying something. It's rare to see a series where I can say that it depends on the execution if it's going to be interesting or not, and it turns out that the execution was freaking good. And that's what ReZero was. The execution of such a simple plot was turned out to be something fantastic. And I dare to say that this is probably a masterpiece in terms of the way it was done, especially the execution of the plot and the story, and the fantastic villain. Oh, Beetlejuice as a villain was so good. He was so good. Oh, how is it that Beetlejuice did such despicable things that I hated this man? I hated this man in episode 16. Like, I legit still remember it, because I was watching it. I was watching it tonight. Like, before I even started this review, I wanted to get my full thoughts on the series. I went back and watched a lot of the episodes, like the beginning of ReZero, and then I also watched some certain key episodes that really just changed my overall impression, like Subaru's breakdown to the Rim and, Subaru, like, talk episode, to Beetlejuice literally playing Twister with Rim's body, to the latest episodes. I rewatched a lot of episodes tonight just to kind of get my overall thoughts of the series, and just to think about all the awful and shitty things that Beetlejuice has done, the way he literally played with Rim's body and broke and twisted her head around, twisted her limbs and stuff, it's despicable. It was disgusting what he did. And, I mean, the rage Subaru felt when he was just screaming and bashing his head like, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. It still brings emotions in me. I still get emotional when I think of that scene. And that's when you know it was such a good fucking episode. Even though you know the outcome, that Rim was fine after that, still, if it could still invoke emotions in you, you know the writer did a good job, and especially the animators. They did such a fantastic job with that, to be able to feel emotions even after you know what happens. And thinking about that, of all the crusty things this man has done, I still can't say deep down, I hate the man. I can't say it. Because, at the end of the day, Beetlejuice, even though he was evil, like, from our perspective, Beetlejuice was evil, this man, he was fighting something very similar to what Subaru has been doing throughout this entire series. And once again, I mentioned it in my, live reaction I did today, but I want to mention here and kind of go a little bit more in depth since I've rewatched the episode. If you think about it, Beetlejuice the entire time since his introduction, he's been fighting for love. Love, 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 love. That's what he's been doing. He's been fighting for the person he really loves, and that love is Satala. The person that destroyed the world, the person that literally is the Witch of Envy. This person that's despicable, he cares so much for her. So everybody hates Satala, okay? Everybody. And this man is literally probably one of the only few that loves her. Really loves her. And you see how much dedication he has to her. How much he tries to do anything he can to make her happy, please her, bring her back, whatever. You see how much he goes, as far as he goes, to try to save her, do whatever he can for her. And what makes him any different from Subaru? I mean, yes, what he's done is despicable. He's done some evil shit. Very evil shit. But his mind is broken. We know Beetlejuice isn't sound in the mind. He's a broken person. And Subaru was on that path of becoming broken. I mean, he was down a dark path. It wasn't thanks to, like, if it wasn't for Rim bringing him out of that dark abyss that he was in, he probably would have ended up like Beetlejuice. Instantly, would have. And when you think about it like this, it's sad because poor Beetlejuice, he never wanted to be like that. He just became broken over time, and, his love became corrupted and twisted, and that's what happened. And so, there's a lot of similarities to Beetlejuice and Subaru. I mean, it's just the entire love thing that drives them. Beetlejuice is fighting for his love. Subaru is fighting for his love. The entire point of the season was for him to save his love, to save Emilia. And also, other similarities, too. I mean, you have it to where they will have so much dedication to continue on to try to see their loved one and bring them back. They are both doing the exact same thing. And also, thinking about it like this, I mean, you have it to where Subaru, who was constantly trying to help out Emilia, save her, or whatever, but she'll never realize, she never knows how much Subaru has done for her, because he uses return by death. We know Subaru has died countless times to try to save her, but she'll never know, because he can't say it because of the curse. And that's kind of what happened to, Beetlejuice. This man says at the final episode that, I know you might not remember. I know you might have forgotten what you've done for me, but I won't. I'll repay you. I'll repay you for everything. I love you. I love you. He's saying this repeatedly, and it's very similar to how Subaru is. He continues to fight for Emilia, even if she doesn't remember all the things he's done for her. He continues to fight for her. And so, I just want to point out that the similarities between these two characters is almost jarring. It's very jarring, and I wonder if this is some form of foreshadowing or hints at what might eventually happen to Subaru if something doesn't change. Because If you think about it, he was very close to going down that path, almost breaking if it wasn't for Rim. He was that close. He was so close to breaking, but it's thanks to Rim bringing him back that he was able to continue on and not become what Beetlejuice is. So, now that I've talked about that, let's talk about just Beetlejuice as a character, okay? This man, as I said, he's broken, and I feel so sad for him, because this man in the final episode, as I've already talked about, he loves Sato a lot. And when he enters Subaru's body, he finally gets to see the person he's devoted so many years to. He's devoted so many years of his life. We don't even know how much, but we know he's devoted a lot of his life to this person, Sato. And when he finally sees her, and you see like he's seen his love, his true love, his God, he starts tearing up. He's so happy. It's tears of happiness because everything he has done, all these despicable things, all these things he's done, it was for this moment. And he sees his love. As soon as he sees her, she shoves him aside and rejects him. And I don't even want to imagine how much pain he must have felt at that moment, because regardless of how evil this man was, you've got to feel bad for him because of how much he did for her just to reject him like that, just to cast him aside. And when he was rejected out, and he literally died, and he realized he was rejected, it's sad, but the man continued to love her, even though she rejected him. And it's tragic. It's very tragic. It's a tragic death. Overall, Beetlejuice's death was very tragic. And I feel so sad to see him die like that. I mean, as I said, he killed Rim and all that, and I was so pissed with him. I'm still pissed, but I don't think he deserved that. I really don't. I really don't think he deserved all of that. But at the very least, I gotta say, though, ReZero knows how to write a good villain. If that's any indicator, I say that's a good thing. I mean, the villain was interesting, and if there's anything we can expect, since we know there's more archbishops in the future that can possibly pop up besides Sloth, I can't wait to see them. I mean, if Beetlejuice is any indication of how good villains can be in this series, I can't wait to see, others, like Gluttony or, Greed and stuff like that. So, Beetlejuice will be missed. I will miss him as a character. But as I said, when it comes to anime, even all characters someday must come to an end as well. So, moving past him as a character, let's talk about Emilia and Subaru's scene at the end. So, it's a very symbolic ending, I think. It has a big core message. There's two messages I get out of it. For one, the beginning of the series, we know Subaru, he wanted to save Emilia. That was like his main goal at the beginning. He wanted to save Emilia and bring her back and just make sure she doesn't die. And this kept with him throughout the entirety of the series. And he saved her. That was like his final goal. Like right here in the final episode, he saved her. And he finally accomplished that. He managed to save her after all the trouble he went through. He saved her. And it's a symbolic message to say he achieved that goal with this final episode. I mean, not everything is said and done, because there's going to be more trauma in the future and trouble, because, I mean, the series still has many more arcs. But at this time, though, Subaru was able to protect her once again, and it makes him happy. And so it was a great way to conclude that Emilia and Subaru scene for Season 1. And the way it went about that entire scene, it felt very similar to the Rim and Subaru scene. As I said in my live reaction, Rim pulled Subaru back, pulled him out of that darkness. And if it wasn't for her, Subaru wouldn't be here right now. He probably wouldn't be mentally sane. And it was like Subaru extended his hand for Emilia and pulled her out of the darkness. I mean, we really, if you think about it, we don't know much about Emilia. We really don't. At the end of the day, we don't know much about her character. And that is the thing. I mean, look, if we can love Rim as much as we do, I mean, I love Rim. My favorite female character of this series, and my favorite female character of this freaking year. And you know what? No, she is my second favorite female character of all time. You know who my first is. That's Holo. But Rim is my second favorite. She is so good. So good. And just think about this for a second. Just think. If Rim, as a side character, is this well written, okay? Imagine how Emilia's gonna be when we get characterization for her. Because if you think about it, she really hasn't gotten a lot. There's a lot of things we do not know about Emilia. We don't know next to nothing about her. And that is the scary thing, if you think about it. This entirely, I guess, the first season was the prologue. I mean, I remember many people saying that, you know, up to episode 18, that was the prologue of ReZero. It literally was the prologue, all the setup, and that was, like, all the Rim stuff. So if Rim could develop that much in just the prologue, imagine how much Emilia is going to develop in the future. Now, I'm not saying she's probably going to surpass Rim. I love Rim way too much. What she did for Subaru was just breathtaking. I mean, it was so emotional, but I just can't imagine how much development Emilia is going to get. If the writer can pull something off like, you know, the writer did for, you know, Subaru and then Rim, and then even Beetlejuice and all the other characters, I just cannot even imagine how Emilia's development is going to be, since she is the main female character of the series. It's going to blow my mind. It's going to blow my fucking mind when we finally actually see that character development and characterization for Emilia. And my heart probably can't take it when we finally find out the truth about Emilia or anything, because we know for fucking certain she's connected to Satla, or the Witch of Emi. We know she's connected, okay? We know this. We know. There's no denying that. I mean, the vessel thing with Beetlejuice saying that to the same voice actor. They are literally the same voice actor. Satla and Emilia have the same voice actor. They look alike. I mean, there's just so many similarities here. I mean, I've talked about certain theories of how, you know, maybe Subaru's love for Emilia is thanks to Satla's curse. I've talked about this, but when you think about it like that, we know there's a lot about Emilia we don't understand, and I can't wait to find out about that, how good that is going to be. And so, I like how the beginning of Emilia's, like, I guess, characterization and her development starts off with a scene that's very similar to Rim. That's what this was. It's like the, you know, confession scene with Rim and Subaru. That's what this was. Subaru was Rim in this episode. He confessed to Emilia, says, "I love you. I know you can't give me an answer right now. I don't expect you to. I know you probably don't have the exact same feelings I do at this time. You probably have other thoughts. But at the very least, I wanted to tell you." And once again, I want to go back to what I said in episode 18. I really am proud of what Subaru did, how he gave Rim an answer. He literally had the big-ass fucking balls, the cojones, to tell Rim that he loved Emilia. Even though I was salty as fuck, I was proud of the man to admit that and say that. And to see how this man went out of his way to announce his love to Emilia, I couldn't have been any happier. I really couldn't have. Because if this would have been a traditional main male character, he would have been like, and then get interrupted. I'm not even joking. That's how it would be. The normal main character would be like, I love. He couldn't even say it. It won't even fucking say it. Literally, won't even fucking say it. Doesn't have the fucking balls to even say I love you to someone. That's how normal main characters are, and it pisses me the fuck off. It really pisses me off. Like, that really sets me over the fucking edge. And to see how Subaru actually can say shit like that makes me so proud of him as a character. There was no weakness, no stutter, there was nothing. It's just all straight up being truthfully honest to Emilia and saying, I love you. Don't need to give me an answer right now. I know eventually you might give me a positive answer. I have hope in that. But I know. I just want you to walk beside me. I'll walk beside you and allow you to learn more about me before you can eventually love me. For instance, he's saying, I don't expect you to have instant romance with me. I want you to learn about me. And that is beautiful. It is so beautiful. It's so organic. It's so refreshing. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like you want to fucking throw up. Because normal light novels, or any anime or manga, when you have the main male character, the main female character, you have this romance tag thrown in, usually they'll instantly fall in love and have feelings, and there's really no, like, build-up. For instance, it's forced as fuck, and you're like, okay. I mean, that's how a lot of romance series are. There's literally no build-up. It's forced. It's literally jammed together. Like, oh, these two gotta be fucking together. They're the main female character, main male character. They have to be together. There has to be no build-up. They just have to be together. That's the common law of anime, manga, and light novels. They have to be together. And I'm so glad that the writer is developing that romance and not forcing it and shoving it in our face. They're making it realistic, falling in love, something that would normally happen. Like, Emilia, even though she cares and she's happy what Subaru said, she shouldn't instantly say that, yes, let's go out, yes, I love you too. She shouldn't. I mean, that's just a common normal reaction, and the way it went about was a very mature conclusion to that confession, and I'm so proud of Emilia, and I'm so proud of Subaru. Even though, like I said, I'm a Rim fan, I'm proud of Emilia. I'm very, very proud of her. She definitely carried this episode in some parts because of how good she was. So, well done, Emilia. Well done. Okay, so now that that is said, I'm going to get into the spoiler section now. Now, I just want to do an FYI, okay? The spoilers I've obtained is thanks to Mitro. You might know him in the comments below. He talks all the time. He's a great guy. You should know him if you read the comments section. But what I'm going to say is what I've heard from Mitro. Now, this is from my understanding. I saw some Chibits trying to spoil it in the comments on my live reaction, and Mitro kind of cleared it up and gave me a good summary. Now, I want to say it once again, before I talk about this, this is spoilers after the events of the anime. Now, I personally have not read the original source, like the web novel, the light novel series is based on, so there could be some discrepancies, maybe I could be confusing some certain events, so FYI. But what I'm going to be talking about is spoiler territory, so if you want to remain as an anime only, which that you'll have to probably remain as an anime only for about 1.5 to 2 years now, depending on how long it takes, then do not continue on this video. I'm just going to say, because I want to talk about some certain things, so spoiler stuff, so anyways, I've given you a warning. I want to get right into it, but and just in case you want to continue, I want to be talking about it, just theorizing and talk about certain things. So, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. So, apparently, there was a big shitstorm today. Like, a huge fucking shitstorm. Like, many were telling me that ReZero was going to end on a colossal cliffhanger. Like, I was legit probably going to jump out of my chair and start screaming and throwing things because it was just that big of a middle finger to the fans, because it was that big of a cliffhanger. You're like, what the fuck? Like, apparently the ending was supposed to be dark, very, very dark and tragic, and you're going to be left with, like, what the fuck? Like, literally your mouth was going to drop. It was a dark conclusion, and you're like, you're going to leave me like this. That's how it was supposed to end. And so I dived into it and found out kind of the information about it, and apparently, kind of giving you a brief summary, you remember how the letter was blank? Well, the letter was sent by Rim, okay? And the letter was eventually found blank, and that was like, what the hell? Why is the letter blank? And then, you remember how we haven't seen Rim in the past couple episodes? As a Rim fan, this makes me sad. It really makes me sad, and if you're a Rim fan too, you know you're gonna be sad as well. So, apparently, Rim's existence has been erased. After the events of the White Well being destroyed and Subaru going off to fight the Witch's Cult, Sloth, Beetlejuice, and all that, Rim encountered 2 sins. Encountered greed and gluttony. Crush was also there as well. Crush got her memory completely erased, or she can't remember anything, and she literally doesn't even know who she is, what the world is, or anything. She can't remember anything. And Rim had her name eaten, which erases her entire existence, and also given extreme amnesia. So, Rim is literally comatose. She is like a husk. She's just a body, like a shell, that is literally unconscious. Sleeping Beauty, best way to kind of symbolize it. And so, Rim right now is unconscious, in a comatose state. Nobody remembers Rim at all. So, the who's Rim is now apparent now. That's the main thing. So, Rim, nobody remembers her. And here's the tragic thing about this, okay? After the conversation with Emilia and Subaru, that happened in the latest episode, apparently what was supposed to happen is, you're going to have to where Subaru's talking about Rim, and then Emilia brings up the question, like, who's Rim? And so Subaru, getting worried and panicking, he rushes over to where he last saw Rim, and he sees her body on the ground, unconscious. And he can't do nothing to wake her. And since nobody can remember, he instantly knows what's going on here. And here's the thing. He kills himself. Subaru kills himself. The man slits his throat and kills himself. Now, what I've been hearing from others is that it wasn't just once. This man killed himself multiple times to try to bring Rim back. He literally killed himself multiple times. And we remember how tragic it was for Subaru to try to kill himself the first time around. Well, this man killed himself multiple times to try to reset back to where he could bring Rim back. And for the first time in the series, Subaru realized his return by death couldn't save someone. This is the first time he couldn't go back and save someone, because every time he died, he would reset back to his, lap pillow with Emilia, that conversation. And so he couldn't save Rim. So what this means is Rim literally has died. Permadeath. Perma-fucking-death. As you can tell, I'm sad. Like, I don't even know how to react, honestly. I'm so sad. But when you think about it like that, it's fucked. Just knowing. Like, I mean, after all the shit that, happened between Subaru and Rim, she literally is unconscious. She's a sleeping beauty. Nobody remembers her. I could see now why White Fox didn't end the anime at that scene. It makes a lot of sense. Thinking about it, as a fan that was just only watching the anime, it does make sense, because let me tell you my perspective of the reason. I feel like White Fox played it safe. I think they did, because, I mean, they know the series is doing really, really well. Like, it's doing really well. It's selling so good, and they're well aware of this. They are. But I think they played it safe because they wanted to make sure that it was going to sell well completely throughout the entire series. And if it did, they could have a fresh start. Like, for instance, start off similar to how Season 1 was. Because the plot, apparently the upcoming goal of the series is to save Rim. Think about what does that sound like? What does that sound? I was literally just talking about this. The whole goal of Season 1 was to save Emilia. The next goal is to save Rim. Apparently, everybody's forgotten her. She's in, a comatose state. So, Subaru has to hunt down the sin that did that to Rim and put him down to be able to fix Rim. That's what his goal is. That is what his objective is to take down the sin, gluttony, that took everything away from Rim, everybody's memories of her, everything, to put that man down. That is Subaru's goal. That is his next goal for Season 2. That is a beautiful setup. I can see the first episode revealing all this, and that's a perfect way to start a Season 2. I'm completely fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm glad they didn't end Season 1 with that, because it would be more of a symbolic message. Starting Season 2 very similar to how Season 1 was done, because think about it, it'd be very similar. I mean, Season 1 started off with Subaru wanting to save Emilia. Season 2 will start off with, Subaru wanting to save Rim. It's kind of similar, but different objectives here, and I feel like that'd be a perfect way to start a Season 2. So I could see why they did it, but they also probably played it safe because they didn't want to piss off their fans, because sometimes if you leave too big of a cliffhanger, it can make fans impatient or pissed or not wanting to support the series ever again. Let's think about this, okay? One of the big series here is Attack on Titan. That is a series that instantly comes to mind, Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan, I love the anime, love the manga, but the anime hasn't had a new anime series for a while now. And the anime ended on a very bad cliffhanger. It was horrible. And I remember reading the manga because that's how bad the cliffhanger was. It was so bad. And it still has yet to have a continuation. I feel so bad for the anime onlys. So, and now many people, after waiting so long for the Attack on Titan anime to continue, they've kind of just given up interest on Attack on Titan. Like, Attack on Titan has died down in popularity thanks to waiting so long for the continuation. Because one of the big things that made Attack on Titan popular was the anime. It wasn't the manga. No, it wasn't the manga. It was the anime. And so many people are very upset with how long it's taking for the new anime to come out because the cliffhanger was such a big fuck you. That's what it was. And so, because of this, I feel like such a cliffhanger is actually kind of negative. It's negative on a good series, something that does really well. And I feel like that's why White Fox played it safe this time around. Why they played it safe with ReZero is because they didn't want such a colossal cliffhanger and know that they can't make a continuation for maybe 2 to 3 years. They don't want, fans losing interest. They want it to kind of be a good, solid conclusion, and then you can come back and continue watching. You won't be upset. I mean, it depends on the viewer. I mean, sometimes, great cliffhangers will make you itch and want that season more, but sometimes it can piss off fans to where they just don't want to continue because you're taking too fucking long. So I understand their point of what they were trying to do symbolically, but also for the money-wise as well as a company. I understand both sides, so I feel like it was a smart move. Anyone that's really raising a shitstorm, to be honest, I don't feel it's really necessary. I really don't. I feel like it should be completely fine. The way it ended was satisfying for a season. I mean, think about this, okay? Look. ReZero is selling so good. It's selling so good. There's no way in fuck you won't make a season 2. White Fox would have to be stupid. So stupid, in fact, that they're literally going to go bankrupt because there's no way they wouldn't continue ReZero. It just doesn't make any sense. They made so much money off this series, just as a company standpoint, with how much money they've already made off of ReZero, it would be stupid of them not to continue the series. Because any company, at the end of the day, they need money. They need money to do things. So they're going to want to get that money, things that sell. That's why a lot of anime companies tend to make fan service anime, because it sells like hotcakes. And that's why we don't get to see a lot of good quality anime, because it doesn't sell. I'm talking about you, Roku no Yusha. Still salty as fuck about that. So, I'm glad to see ReZero selling so well, even though it's something that normally wouldn't sell well, which is the surprising part about this. So, I feel like the company, they're gonna probably continue it. It's sold too good, and they would be stupid not to continue it. It'd be stupid as a business standpoint. It really would. So, White Fox will eventually continue it. Okay, so, getting back into the spoiler territory, though. So, Rim, right now, everybody's forgotten about her. Subaru, his goal now is to hunt down the Sin that did what he did to Rim, and also Subaru had to commit suicide multiple times to realize the defeat that he can no longer, use return by death to fix something, and he realizes some of the limitations to his power now, like, it has its limits, and he realizes it for the first time, so it's probably going to add more caution to him from now on in what he does, and on top of that, I mean, this man, he actually almost fell into depression once again, apparently from what I read. He literally was at that point to where he was literally about to break down and give up. Like what he was doing in the past before Rim pulled him out of the darkness. He was about to give up. He was legit about to give up. But you know what saved him before he broke down and literally fell in that ocean once again? Rim. Yeah. He fought back at what Rim said to him and all that. He's like, Rim wouldn't want to see me like this. She wouldn't want me to do that once again. And he brought himself back, and he stood forward, smiled, and tried to save Rim, find a way. That right there, character development. The man won't be broken down as easy as he was in the past. Well done, Subaru. Okay, so I think that's about it. I think that concludes my overall thoughts of ReZero, to be honest. I mean, I really hope it gets translated. Like, I know there's many of you Chibits out there. I pray one of you smarter Chibits translate the web novel series. I really hope. I'm supporting the series, but I really want to continue this series so bad. I really do. I'm sad to see it go. And I just don't want to end the video because I know as soon as I hit stop recording on this video, it's done. And I'll have to accept it. I don't want that. I don't want to accept that it's over. But I have to. So, Chibits. It's a fun ride. Very, very fun ride. You know, I'll label this series masterpiece status. It's a must-watch. Masterpiece status. I'm not saying everybody will think this is a masterpiece. Everybody has different tastes in series. But in my personal opinion, masterpiece. It's a must-watch. It is a must-watch in my book. With how much it deconstructs the traditional light novel fantasy setting, it's a must-watch. So, ReZero, it's been a fun ride. I've enjoyed from start to finish with you all 25 episodes. It's been fun. And I'm going to say my goodbyes. You've been a fun ride. But I got to end it here. It's ran out of gas. And I gotta wait until, the new car comes out for you, for I can continue. And yes, that was a Subaru joke. But you all have a wonderful day, or night, wherever you live. It's gonna be hard to have any anime from this year compete with such glorious series. Probably even for the next couple years, honestly. It'll probably be hard to beat this series in terms of the quality it brought to the table. But you all have a wonderful day. Or night, wherever you live. Sorry for the long video. I know many of you might not have watched this video to the conclusion. I'm very sorry. I know my long videos can get a little bit long-winded, and I know many like that. There's a lot of people that don't appreciate that, but as I say many times, when I get passionate about something, I get passionate about something. I want to talk about it. I want to just sit down and chat about ReZero, and that's what I'm here for. So, forgive me for all the long videos. I know some were kind of upset with it. I know some of you enjoyed it as well. Thank you all for sticking through with me to the very end of this series and watching these videos. It's been a blast. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.